Welcome back to Audiology. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite tracks in hip-hop ever, and that being Ladders by Mac Miller. It's off his 2018 album Swimming, and in my opinion it's the strongest track and kind of the centerpiece of the album. Got some incredible people that worked on this. It was mixed by Galland and Manny Marroquin, who are both equally in their own right enormous mix engineers and some of the best in the world. Produced by Pomo and Jon Brion. Jon Brion would then go on to finish Circles, the posthumous album by Mac, and it was mastered by Bozzi, who's also very established. There's a couple of things about this that make it kind of interesting in the album, one of which being the level. It feels kind of quiet next to a lot of the other tracks in the album. In particular, the track that comes after it, Small World. The vocals feel further back. There's definitely more reverb on the vocals in this to add to the atmosphere. I guess they didn't push the masters so much to preserve the dynamics of the song. Between the sections of the song, the level varies so much. So I guess it was A, to preserve that, and B, to preserve how dynamic and bouncy the low end is, the bass and the kick jumping all over the place. A couple of other interesting points while we're on vocals. The sung vocals on this track feel immaculate. They're layered in two different octaves. They're panned ear to ear. They're incredibly tight. They must have used Vocaline to get all of the takes just perfectly in time. And I think it adds kind of like a 3D effect to this song, right? You've got these beautifully lush sung layered vocals that just sit atop the instrumentation. And then you've got this rap vocal, which actually feels further back, more reverbed and in the center and a little bit more distant. Moving in and out of these two different formats, section to section, makes the song so interesting. You've also got little touches of this throughout the rap verses. There's these little stereo dub vocals that come in every few lines that Mac's delivering. Yeah, I guess for a rap vocal, the reverb is quite big, which adds to that atmospheric effect that it has. It kind of puts it in the space instead of feeling above it. I think it's a beautiful touch. The bass in this song is also incredible. Every note is completely audible, no matter where it is on the fretboard, which is everywhere. So much clarity. There would have had to have been so much EQ work or thought in the production to just get everything out of the way of that bass, because there's so much movement in it, but it's just immaculate. It's been mixed perfectly. And the way that it interacts with the kick is just amazing as well. I guess I've made this point a few times, but with the bass jumping all over the fretboard and being a different note all the time, the way that'll interact with the kick is going to change each time whenever it hits a different note, because the frequencies are fundamentally different. But no matter where the bass is sitting, the kick has managed to punch through. They've done a beautiful job. The stereo image in this song is beautiful. The rap vocals feel dead center and the sung vocals feel super 3D and stereo. Basically in the verses, it's just the bass, kick and vocal in the center, and everything else in terms of the instrumentation is around it. Everything's left or right. It's beautiful. The song feels immersive. It feels atmospheric, and this is why there's just so much beautiful instrumentation enveloping the vocal, the kick and the bass, which are driving the core energy and attention of the song. Everything else is complementary surrounding it. There's an orchestra that comes in a couple of post-hook sections, or I guess the hook of the song is this orchestral section. It's mixed beautifully. It's very dynamic. It's not as compressed as you might hear a pop orchestra chorus mixed. It's not as loud as you'd expect an orchestral chorus to be either. It's just breathing, it's moving. Again, everything in the song just feels like it's in a space. Nothing feels above anything. It's all just been tucked and weaved in beautifully. All of this instrumentation, the orchestra included. I touched on the mastering before, just with the level. I want to talk about the actual spectrum. I think in major label records, it is commonplace to have super bright masters to just squeeze as much as you can out of a record. But this song feels really tastefully done. There's no unnecessary brightness. It's just a very balanced level EQ spectrum across the board for the master. And that means that the bass is coming through beautifully. The presence in the vocals, the mid-range, has actually been allowed to come through. All of the instrumentation is present and audible, and the top end of the vocal isn't too harsh. It's just right where it needs to be. So yeah, this is my favorite Mac Miller record ever. Rest in peace. Incredible song on an incredible album, incredible people involved, and I'll see you guys again soon.